those magnificent men in their flying machines. They go up to the up, up, they go down to the up, down.
Oh yeah, right, here we go. This is probably the most exciting bit of the build so far for me, because basically I've got to the stage where I'm really dressing the fuselage and all that, and looking at the picture and spending copious amounts of hours trying to get it right. So if I get my camera ladies back, woo, jelly! So if you look on here, I mean, you might see it in this light, but you got to look at the details like the exhaust started dart and these funnels, whatever they're for, yeah? Okay, so that's what we're concentrating on today. Okay, so if we pan back now to the model, as you can see, there it is. So this funnel here, it's basically made out of a scrap balsa, sanded to shape. That's epoxied on because that's going to be sprayed or painted brown like on the model, on the real plane. It is exhaust, right? The reason I haven't glued the exhaust in, see a little bit of metal, right? It's like I said before, it's curtain tubing. These will all be put in after it's covered, and you epoxy resin these in, so they're there, okay? Alright, and you get the right angle. That's the same with these plates here. Alright, this again is a bit of scrap balsa made up just by looking at the picture. This is glued on there. These are only temporarily fixed on because obviously when it comes to covering it, when I cover the whole lot, these will go on over the top of the covering, and then these will be glued on, and then yeah, the screws are just there for show when I put them on. And obviously there's two of these, both sides. Okay, so that's basically that. The day came with a kit these, but I had to alter them because they weren't the right shape. So I looked at the picture and got the right shape as you do. Okay, now that's that bit. So like I said, they'll come off when they're covering, but I had to see it. So there's both sides to that. Okay, both sides. We'll come to the cowl in a minute. And so there's the other side now. If we can get it round. Right. So the other side's the same. Well, there's no funnel there that side. Okay, so that's what you got to look at. Both when you look at the pictures online. The Shuttleworth collection one anyway, you've got to, like, you know, make sure you don't make mistakes of putting too much on. Okay, again, see, it just sits there. It's just to get it, so you put them all in, so you got them all level and they're equilibrium either side of the fuse. So when it comes off, it'll be nice. Now we come to the cowl, just to prove, look, so if I can get it, the camera lady, get it in. So you can see there's plenty of room for the prop. Okay, to spin around. Nice. Okay, that's enough room. Lovely, so I can take it off now. Right, so we'll come to the cowl bit now. I wasn't going to do this today, but I thought, you know what, I'll just get on with the job. So obviously, like I said before, I've made the engine so that it's on the top. Preferably, if I was going to do this again, I would invert the engine. Purely because at the bottom, there's a great big hole which I'll come to. But it's done now, and that's all there is to it. So you can see it's on. To get this working right, because obviously you've got to measure that. You measure it from the inside of the cowl. And then you cut it out with the Dremels, the little blade, the wheel that I've got somewhere here. So you've got your little wheel. That's why I said keep them, because they're smaller, easier to cut out. And then you sand it back. Okay, so we'll get to that. And my camera lady, bless. So that's there. So yeah, I would suggest doing it inverted in future, because you would look at the bottom and you'll see why in a minute. So if we turn it over, okay. Right, I'm going to take this box out of the way. Let's get rid of that. Right. So there's a few things that I like on the picture which I'll come to now. So obviously this hole here, I made that with a penny. Just draw around a penny. Okay, to get the bottom cut out, which again if I try and find it on here, you'll see what I mean. I'll look for the picture now. There you go, there's the picture I was looking at. If you show the camera lady, you see this where the arrow of the hand bit is? Around there. There, come out of it, that's it. And that curved bit there. Okay, so in order to get that, okay, you've basically got your whole cowlers in. You've obviously cut the top first so it fits in. And you get a template and you measure it from where the cut starts. So if you can get that from there to there, as you can see on top of the cowl, from the edge of the fuse, both sides of the fuse. And then you get your piece of paper and you just keep trimming it back to where you want it. And once you've got the paper measured up and you cut it straight, you make the curve you're happy with one side. And because it's a straight piece of paper, just fold it in half, trace on it, and then cut that side with a blade. Not a scissors, a blade, okay? And once you've got that, and when you put it back on your cowl like so, draw it round with a pen, and then you cut it out. Take your time, because there's only one cowl. You only get one chance at it. So take your time, and again use a little Dremel wheel which I've just shown you to do it. Okay, and then once you've done that, you sand that out with the wheel, with the hole here. As you can see, I used a point, another Dremel tool, which is just it's on here, I believe. There you go. This is like a little cutting tool. You know, I'm sure other people have got better things to do it with, but that's how I cut that out and took my time. Okay, so that's basically that. So that is now, the cowl is basically ready to be sprayed. The only thing left now is to do the, as I said before, there's a lot of dressing on it still to be done, because obviously, as it's a work in progress at the moment. Oh yeah, when you put the cowl on, drill the holes, you know, screw it to the fuse first after you've cut your top one out. So you've got a piece that's solid, so you know how you can rest on it and cut things, you know. That's how I did it in a way. So now the next thing to do will be, once eventually it's almost there now, you see, I'm going to make the machine guns. Freddie the pilot, he's obviously, this is actually a 1/6 scale pilot, but as you can see, he's going to be rather big. So when I come to paint him, I'll probably chop him in half, bless him. So according to that picture, his head sort of sits about there, you know, so which is not a problem, less to paint, thank God. Alright, so here you know you're trimming, because once the screw goes in that'll be level. You got to put your straps there. That's why it doesn't matter, because you're gonna have a strap that goes there, like on the picture, and there's straps that go there either side. So that doesn't matter either. So that's handy to do. So the next job will be the machine guns. To make the machine guns, and as I explained in the previous video, this is like, actually it's 15mm tubing. I remember now. So yeah, I'll put that on, and obviously again you look at the picture. See, as much as you just keep looking at the pictures, see how far the guns protrude over the cowling. And there's 2 of these. And when I make them, I'll do them maybe tomorrow, because it's a bit late now. So that's more or less it, ladies and gentlemen. So some machine guns next, and I might even do the pilot. And then obviously around the back here, you've got the rubber tubing I use to make the soft bit for the trim. That's all it is really, just trim. And then once that's all in situ, the hole cut out here, which I'm not really keen on doing, but it does show you on there where the magazines fit for the machine guns. So I'll have another look at that. And then there's little bits and bobs, you know, but I'll come to all that another day. Okay, right then. So that's basically getting there now. Jelly. So we're getting there. So that's it. So tomorrow we'll do that. Once that's all there, I may even put the tail plane on and the fin. But you know, obviously when you're working on the main bits like this, you don't want nothing there to be knocked, because I'm a terrible habit for knocking things. So I think I found everything it's meant to be on the fuse, and you know, and all that. So onwards and upwards, eh? Oh yeah, I know. Now I got it off the undercarriage, so you can see what I mean. It needs covering really, because you can't really sand that anymore, or it'll just fall away. So that's what we're going to do. Okay. See here, we got this tail fitting. This is a nice piece of like beech, the spruce actually, but it's all against scrap. But I've just cut and shaped it to the way I feel like it. You know, this is set in solid on the plan. It's got a little spring thing, but to be honest with you, this tail I've had to reinforce it. Everything. It's not my kind of plan. Doesn't really justify the way to do it. So I've done it this way. So no, you won't see it when it's covered in a way. But let's have that. So in order to get that like that, I've basically. That was. This is how I roughly do it. Imagine that you put your piece in underneath there, sand it to shape, you cut out the hard size and just slide it in, like so. And I always sand a bit down this side and that side so it's at an angle. And then you white glue that in, and then you get pieces of hardwood either side, short bits like that, just to wedge it in and white glue them in, or super glue them, and that's them in. Because this is going to be stained afterwards to make it look like the real thing. So that makes sense, that's that. Okay, there's nothing too complicated about that. Now we come to the rods. Now, yeah, on the plan it says use these fantastic plastic things. It's got the slides through, but I'm a bit old-fashioned, and I prefer to do it this way. So, obviously you choose what way you want to do it. So what we're doing is we're aiming to put them on here. Some people call these suicide clips, so I've never failed me, and I think they're fantastic. So I use them on the end these Gorpner things on the end. So you put the rod through it. So I've done one side just to show you. So you've got the one side's on. Right, so you know you roughly measure it. You don't have to rough it. I always put it as the rod. Cut the rod to the length you want, which is about there for this. And then I always use the rod so it's about halfway up. That makes it so you've got room to play with this back bit. So you're halfway up there, so move the camera there. So you've got room to play with it at the back because you're going to move it around. Okay, now I'm looking for the rod that I had, which is probably fallen on the floor. Probably. Well, we'll get another one. Right, so no problem there. And obviously you got your rods now. They didn't come with the kit either, I might add. Nothing new. So I use the metal clips. I don't really like using there you go. So that's nicely on. And I always usually screw them halfway up. You know, before you get in your set, so you've got room to play that side as well. But that's later. Right, so you've got your rod, and then you just like you see, you've got it marked it off roughly. So it's got to come out of there. See there, about there. So I've made the mark already. See, as long as it sticks out about the same, that's about right. It's there. That should do it. Okay, plenty of room. Okay, so mark it with a pencil, preferably in the right line there. Right. And what I do is, I mean, some people do it differently, but that's just me. I just pile that hole for that side. And drill it outside. One there. And there. Okay, just doing it, yeah. Right, and then what I use is this garden, go to any hardware shop, this is garden baling wire. It's nice and thin. And it's ideal for a lot of things, or fuse wire, whatever you've got. Some people use cotton and thread, but preferably I prefer to use these. So you cut to length, which I've just done. Okay, so there's your length. Right, you've got your rod. And what I tend to do is to get the pliers, just bend it over 90 degrees. It's a little bit over. So it's like that. So slightly over. Okay, and then you put it into your main ply hole. Plumb hole there. There you go. And what I tend to do is so it's in line with that. Pinch it. So this is only cheap balsa wood. Dowling rod, get for pennies from anywhere. See, if you've got a little track there so it doesn't move when you put the baling wire in. You put your baling wire in like so, leave loads at the end there. Give a little wrap around there. Okay. Right, come here. Right, mind your eyes, camera lady. And you just basically wrap it around tight. Okay. And then where the other hole is, you put the drill, push it through. A bit like sewing. Okay, so you got it nice and straight. Then wrap it back around again. Okay, so you got that one there. Let's twist them round. I mean, I've tried and tested this, so the reason I use baling wire is because it lasts forever. Okay, I mean, you don't have any problems with it. Right, let's get your pliers there. Snippers, just cut it. Okay, just clamp them in. Okay, so that's that. Right. And then what you do is this is the fun. Oh, there it is, look. Ta-da! So you got it now. What I normally do is that I'm going to wait until I've done all my tail plane on and put all that in there. I usually you can either use epoxy resin, which is an expensive way to do it, and it'll set, or just use your normal Sino, pour it over it and spray your activator on it. Because to be honest with you, it's never going to move. You know what I mean? No matter what you do, this isn't going to be this is not a sports plane. You know, it's just an easy flyer. So that to move, it's going to take ages. But it's your preference. Okay, so that's it really. And then all you do is once you've got it in, right, and you just thread it through. This is the fun bit, believe me. I hate this bit. I wasn't going to put this on the video because everyone's going to go, you'll never get that through there. You're not wrong. But you watch this. So you persevere with it. There you go. Oh, look at that, nearly first. Yeah, I've had quite a lucky day today, so I'm telling you, I might play the lottery later. Right, so you got it in. Okay, now we're back to this end. So what I do is you generally buy you lock it in there. You know, that's simple. You know, you just buy these, bought the things. I've had them, but I threw the packet away. So and you just attach them, put them on the end, so they're left there, so they don't piss about here, you know, fall around. So if we move the camera lady back to here, then what I use is this comes from Only pet shop. It's airline tubing for fish tanks, which is actually ideal for what I use it for. I mean, I wouldn't recommend using it for fuel tanks or anything, but what I use it for is simply you cut the ends off with a pair of scissors or clippers, put it on the end of the rod, and I always use that, he says, so that you can, you know, when you're actually attaching the clip to the actual horn, see halfway up that'll do, and that goes over like so, so it holds the horn there, and that's what I use in all mine, you know, and it comes in various colours, but blue seems to be the one I get, and it's about £3 a wrap, so that's nothing. So that's about £3, which will last you a lifetime. This is about 99p, right, which lasts forever, so it's quite good. And obviously the rods, I tend to use old rods that I've cut for that end, because you've got the suicide bits, as they call it, the clips, and obviously threaded rods that end, your preference, and that's about it, I think, really, you know. So that's it. So obviously they'll be in nice. And now what I do, once they're in, you see, I always find them a pain in the backside to get in. So once they're in, you know they're in place to go with. I could concentrate on putting the bits on top now, you know, the riggings and the stringers. Yeah, I remember the word. See, like for wherever they go, you know, there and there and there and there. And get all the tail plane lined up and the rudder and fin. So that'll be that side done. And then that's really mainly the fuselage, sort of like, apart from dressing little bits like the exhaust and that, which I'll do that later, that's mainly the main build done on the fuse up to that point, you know. The rest is all going to be like the campaigns and struts and stuff like that. But yeah, so that I hope helps anybody who's going to do the stick version like I do. Other versions are, yeah, like I said, the tube version, you can do that. I can't reach it now, but there's a bit of tubing that goes in between each other, and yeah, it's excellent. I suppose it's a neater way of doing it. That's the way to do it. Or do it the right way, which would be with the wires. So you've got the, I can't remember what they call that. Oh no, it's gone on my head. It's been a long day. Okay, so, but this is my way anyway. That'll do. Cheerio and have a nice weekend. Anyone going to Western Park, I hope you have a nice time. See ya. Bye.
Those magnificent men, those magnificent men.